then. But what's your understanding of FSRM? Like the
Um,
FSRM?
not as much as um,
FSRM. But
uh,
is it something that you've heard of before when they say FSRM?
I just not too much of it. I know it's just something to do with data and so forth.
Yeah.
Um, to you can select like to manage your I believe your data quarters and rules and all that like as far as file sharing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
that's
You.
as much as I know.
Yeah. So you mentioned something about quota.
Yeah.
Um, you mentioned power sharing. What else did you mention? FSRM.
Um, quarters, file sharing. I'm guessing also you get that manage as far as reports and
Yeah. Reports. Anything else?
mm, will that also include tracking as far as the tracking and I guess that could be under reporting, the tracking and the auditing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be under reporting. Well, FSRM doesn't really include that much auditing like the way we talk about auditing, like security audit and all that. But
Mhm.
let's go. Ah, that's interesting. It's allowing me to go. Yeah, that's nice. Ah, okay. Yeah. So here's the thing with the FSRM is that now as a system admin, um, you have a file server in your environment. Now, one of the things you're expected to do is that your file server is one of the server that is a living thing. So it's something that is constantly changing. It's something that is constantly developing. It's something that is really, really dynamic. So what's expected is there must be a proper way of managing it. And I remember like one of the where I'm currently working now, one of the first questions that I asked uh, someone who is like a storage admin in the infrastructure, one of the first questions I asked him was, um, said, okay, hold on. Every day I keep saving more files and more files and more files to my storage area. And I'm
Mhm.
sure that everybody in the company is doing the same thing. You know, it's been a while since I deleted anything from my storage area. So I just keep saving more files and more files and more files, and it's going larger. And then I'll get something else, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just save it. And then I'll get something else, and I'll be like, I'll just save it. Then I was like, okay, hold on. If everybody keeps doing this, does it mean that we'll just keep buying more storage and more storage and more storage to the extent that all our data center is filled up? And we have to go look for another data center to put in more storage because storage will just keep growing because file services or your file server in your environment is one of the things that it's living, it's something that is dynamic, it's something that's constantly growing. And because it's constantly growing, as an administrator, you have to figure out a way to manage it. Um, let me put it this way. So Joseph, if you're a system admin in an organization and your task is to manage the file server. Yeah, so that's one of your tasks. So how would you go about that task? So you're going to be the one in charge of this file server where people share files within the company. What would be your concerns? What will you be concerned with?
Um, well, I mean, definitely the size of the files that are being saved.
Okay, nice one. The size of files that have been saved. Why would you need to? Why would you need that? What will you need it for? The sounds of the files that have been saved. What do you need that for?
Well, I mean, you need, it all depends. I should, if I'm the file server admin, I should be able to organize. Some people will obviously need to use more space than others
Hmm.
uh, to save specific files. Um, so, I mean, depending, I would have to give specific users more space than others.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So what else apart from sounds of the files that have been saved? What else will you be concerned with?
Uh, Backing up those
Yep.
files.
Very, very good. Backing up the files. If I can ask you, so how would you go about designing your backup strategy for it? Well, I mean, how will you go about? So you say, okay, I'm the system admin in charge of this file server, and I'm concerned about the space, about the thousands of files that people are saving on the server that I'm managing. The other thing I'm concerned about is, oh, we can lose data. I don't want to lose data, so I'm
Mhm.
gonna back up the files. But what would be your strategy? How would you design your strategy for backing up your files?
Um, well, I mean, the strategy for me, I guess it would be the importance as far as how frequent those that data need to be backed up.
Yep.
Uh,
Good one. Okay, so let me put that down as a top. So how frequent? Yep. What else?
and also where I'll be backing them up to.
Yep. Good one. Where you'll be backing them up to. What else? Is there anything else?
Um, well, I mean, at the same time, I would also wonder, since obviously I'm backing them up, how long is that data going to stay on that on the file storage, so that I don't keep on adding more storage, but utilize already what I have.
Okay. So let me give you like a scenario. So let's go for Dell server. Get ourselves a good image with Dell server. And okay, this one. I think this was the last one we used. So let's copy this one and let's go change. So we have ourselves a Dell server here. So you have a Dell server here, and then you have your users who have just their own, and just let's go Dell laptop. Um, anything would do. So you have your users and you have your file server. Yep, this one would do. Copy image. Let's paste that. Here we go. So we have our clients in our infrastructure with their beautiful, wonderful laptops connecting to this file server. So they're connecting to this file server to share files. Now, your backup strategy, if this one, something were to happen and this particular server were to fail, so the server has failed. Now, you did mention that you'll be concerned about where you're backing them up to, how frequent they need to be backed up. So, I mean, you've taken into consideration all these things. But what happens if now this one has failed? Now you have your backup, right? But it takes you one day before your backup is recovered to this server. Now, if this guy was about to make a $1 million deal before this server went down, do you think you'll be happy with waiting 1 day before you recover everything?
uh, definitely not.
So the reason was I brought that scenario to bring something else up. That one other thing, one thing else that you need to be concerned about is not only the files you're backing up, how often you need to back them up, is how quickly can you recover from a failure. So in storage terms, they call them two terms. They call them this. They call them RTO and RPO. Have you heard of that before? RTO and RPO.
Um, recovery time. Uh, okay, recovery time objective.
Yep, and recovery time objective. What does that mean? Recovery time objective.
Um, don't think I can recall that one. Um, oh, okay. That's kind of text to
So if you've lost the data, how long will it take you before the data is live and active again? So that's the recovery time objective. Then the other one is the RPO, which stands for what?
recovery. Oh, point. Okay, recovery
Recovery
point.
point objective. And what does that mean by recovery point objective?
Um, oh, okay. How much can we afford to
To
lose?
lose, which is what you mentioned. How frequent do we need to back it up? So,
Okay.
so you're a sysadmin, and they've given you a task, and they said to you, Joseph, you're in charge of our file server in our infrastructure. So one of the first things you need to do is to sit down with the business, yeah, because the decision will not actually come from you. As a system admin, you don't make the decision. That's one good thing about being an engineer, is that you don't actually make the decision. Your own job is to give the options that are available and let the business make the decision. So basically, you go to the business and say, okay, how much data can you afford to lose? Yeah. Usually, what do you think their answer will be? How much data can you afford to lose? What do you think the answer will be?
None.
They will tell you, most likely, they will tell you, no, you can't lose any data. Then you're like, okay, yeah, I'm a system admin. Yeah, that's okay. You can't lose any data. How much do you want that if a data is lost for it to be recovered? They'll probably tell you within 1 minute. You say, yeah, no problem. Yeah, we can probably get that done for you. Then you go out and you're like, okay, if you're really gonna afford not to lose any data, you need to buy a storage of maybe 500 terabyte storage. Maybe that will cost you about $100,000. So now, when you break down everything for them, then they will go, actually, maybe we can afford to lose 1 hour. Or actually, maybe we can afford to lose maybe 3 hours or 4 hours. It's not that bad. We'll survive with 3 hours or 4 hours data loss. We'll be okay. They're like, okay, yeah. So you use the cost to bring the business back to reality. So because in the beginning they'll tell you we can't afford to lose anything. You're like, okay, let's come back to reality. If you can't afford to lose anything, this is what it's gonna cost you. Because what that means is that if recovery point objective is none, that means you're taking your backup almost every minute. So you're taking a backup of what is changing almost every minute. And that is a lot of bandwidth, a lot of storage space, and all that. So the reason why we're mentioning all this is because, okay, we're talking about your backup strategy. It's because your backup strategy must be concise. What do I mean by being concise? Like not just being concise, you have to must be multi-dimensional. That's another good time because you have to look at it from many perspectives. What do I mean by that? Um, you're designing a backup strategy for an infrastructure. You can't just use your normal backup as your backup strategy. because your normal backup, there's no way you're going to be able to recover, you know, lost data within 1 hour. It's going to take a long time, right?
Yeah.
So you have to have, you probably do something like, let's enable something like VSS. You know what VSS is?
Yes.
The volume snapshot,
Yeah.
where you can right click on a folder and go properties and go previous versions, right? And
Yes.
recover previous versions. Now that one, you don't have to go dig up your backup tapes to be able to recover that, right?
No.
But you can use that as part of your, it's not really backup, but you can incorporate that as part of your holistic backup strategy. So that if it's just a situation where where a user has accidentally deleted a file, you don't have to be digging up your backup tapes and it's going to take you 5 hours to recover the file. You can basically tell them, go to properties, go to previous version, and within 30 seconds, your file is back.
Hmm.
So that's all part of your backup strategy that you're using. So you're protecting not only against system failures, you're protecting against accidental data loss or accidental data deletion or accidental data change. So you have like different strategies that you're using. So you're not only having backup where you can recover a whole system from backup if it fails, but you have your file server, you have it in a RAID configuration so that if an hard drive fails, you don't have to go bring up your whole backup and build a whole new Windows server again and then restore everything back from backup. All you need to do is replace a disk and RAID will rebuild the disk by itself, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you see the whole point of approaching this from many angles. So that way you have something that is welcome, Mark. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, very good. And you?
Good.
Okay, let me yeah, I'll post the password and the ID and the password to the server in the chat window. So we're just discussing with myself and Joseph, we're just discussing about backup strategies and all that.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is that clear? As in, is that clear a bit, Joseph?
Yes.
Yeah. So now, yeah. So carry on. So as a system administrator now, so what else do you think you'll be concerned about if you are the one? Now, if you get it, as a system administrator, your job is to take care of systems. Now, if your job is to take care of systems, if something were to go wrong with that system, you're responsible for it. So you have to think of managing the system from many perspectives, and you have to think ahead and try to realize what could happen. For example, if you're working for a company and they say to you, and Joseph, can you deploy a file server for us? And you deploy a file server, and after 3 months, the file server is out of this space. What do you think will happen? Yeah, they won't be happy, right? They'll
No,
be
not
like,
at all.
yeah, you deploy the server for us, and within 3 months, we're out of this space. So it's your job as an administrator to try to find out, how much storage they're going to be using for like at least the next 2 years to prepare for that ahead of time and all that. Okay, so let's go forward a bit. So you said you're going to be concerned about how frequent they need to back up. So let's just cancel all this and let's go back. So the whole point behind FSRM has one whole point behind it. You know, the whole philosophy behind FSRM is this term, capacity management. That's the term, that's the philosophy behind this technology. So FSRM is Microsoft's idea of helping system admin manage the capacity of their file servers. That's what it's for. So Microsoft has thought, okay, as storage, as system admins, we have these problems with our file server, where we have files constantly being changed all the time, being added all the time. Now we need to manage the capacity of our infrastructure. Now to manage the capacity, Microsoft is like, okay, let's release this technology called FSRM to handle that. So that leads us to another topic. In terms of capacity management, so how would you manage the capacity of your file server? Or what are the things that you consider to manage the capacity? Now, we're not talking about availability. We're not talking about is it going to be available, which includes backup that you mentioned. We're talking about the capacity, the storage. So, what would you be concerned with? How would you ensure, Joseph, that your file server that you're deploying will not run out of disk space in the next 3 months?
Um, well, I mean, like I said previously, it all depends what kind of files will be saved on there.
Yep.
In which case, you can get an idea the typical size of the files,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
um, and then from there on, you can build on to what size initially you think will be you'll need.
Okay. Yeah. What else? Mark, anything else that you want to add? So you're a system admin, you're the one managing the file server for a business. What are the things that you'll be concerned about or that you look into to manage your capacity? So Joseph mentioned the type of files and the size. Is there anything else that you think?
Um, I'm not sure. I'm trying to think what else you would use anything like quotas or anything like that.
Yeah, with the quota is it's like a way, it's like the solution.
Hmm. Oh, okay.
So now we're like, okay, so what are the things that we need to watch out for so that we won't get caught out? So what are the things that we need to be careful about? So we need to be careful about the type of files, which is right, the styles of the files. I'll say one other thing that we need to be careful about is how is the data being used? This is what this means. So this one is right. You need to be careful about the type of files. So as a system admin, you need to find out first of all what type of files we'll be using on this file server or that we'll be storing on this file server. Be like, oh, we're gonna be storing all kinds of files like our Word files, Excel file. Okay, that's good. Um, like we're gonna be storing videos in it also. Okay, that's getting more scary. You're gonna be storing, Photoshop and all that kind of stuff on it. Okay, yeah, that's definitely serious. Then what's the styles of the files? And then how the data is being used. What I mean by how the data is being used is this. Like I said at the beginning that one of the questions I asked the storage guy in my current company when I first started was, how do you handle things like that when, I have a storage space, I keep saving files to it every day, I hardly delete any files from it. Maybe Mac also has a storage space. Mac keeps saving files to it. Mac hardly delete anything from it. How do you handle that? Here's the way to handle that. You must have a way to report on your storage to say this file hasn't been accessed for the past 1 year. You must have a way to bring up that kind of report because that will help you to know, okay, this file needs to go off this storage. Nobody has accessed it for the past 1 year. If it were to be that important, you know, it will have been accessed. So we've backed it up. Now it's time to delete it from this storage. If it's needed, we can always recover from backup. You get the point? So you must find out how
Sure.
is data being used. Because what you find out in many file servers now, not well, in any file server, is that there will be a bunch of files that will be in use at a particular point in time. Then after some time, they'll become stale data, and new files will be the ones that are being used. Then after some time, those new ones too will become stale data. Then new ones will become the ones that are being used. So your job as a system admin is to try to find out. You must have a way to bring up these ones are being used. These ones are not being used at the moment. The ones that are not being used, let's back them up, delete them to clear out the storage. Otherwise, you will have to keep buying more storage every single time. and there will be no end to it because whatever storage you have, your users will find a way to fill it up.
Yeah, but how do you know if that file's, something that they need, or is it a copy of? There's a more current version of it, or I mean, I can just see me going in and removing these files and having like 50 users line up at my door.
Yeah. How do you answer that question, Joseph? So Mark is asking a very legitimate question that, oh, so you go about and remove this type of things based on like this. You go about and remove things like that, and then users are getting upset that, oh, you've moved my data, you've moved my information. How do you answer that, Joseph?
Well, I mean, you can just tell them, well, you haven't accessed this file for a year. Or if so I assume you haven't needed it for the past year. So, if you need it, we can retrieve it from backup. But based on the fact that you haven't accessed in a year, it doesn't seem like it was that crucial.
Why? Well, yeah, and that's absolutely correct. But it will be done in a more diplomatic way. What I mean by in a more diplomatic way is this. You remember at the beginning we said a system admin, you don't actually make decisions, right?
Yeah.
Your job is to give the options to the company. Like I said, like if you go to a company, just to help Mark. So what we talked about, you saw us mention RPO before. RPO, oh sorry, RPO being how much data can a company afford to lose? So if you as a system admin, you sit down with the business and you say, okay, you want me to design a file server infrastructure for you. How much data can you afford to lose on this file server? What do you think their answer will be?
Nothing.
Exactly, the answer will be none. So now you as a system admin, it's not your job to argue with them and say, no, what do you mean by you can't lose nothing? Your job is to say, yeah, you can't lose nothing. That's fine. So here's the cost. If you can't lose nothing, what that means is we're gonna have to be backing up files every 1 minute. So that means we'll need a storage of 500 terabytes, and that will cost you maybe about $100,000. And then
Oh,
all of a sudden they will tell you, actually we can lose about 3 hours of data. Actually, it's not that bad. They'll be like, but if you can lose 4 hours of data, that 100,000 just went down to $50,000. And they're like, oh, actually, we can lose more. How much more can we lose to take it down to 10,000? You get the point. So that's your job as an administrator. So one thing you do as an administrator at the beginning is you always have this agreement with the business. It's called acceptable use policies. So as part of your acceptable use policies, you've defined with the business that, okay, if you don't want to be buying storage, which is going to be costing you tens of thousands of dollars or pounds every year, what we'll have to do is data that is not being used, we'll have to be removing it every once in a while as part of our maintenance task. Now, you decide for me, the business, how much data or how long should a data go unused before we consider it to be stale. So it's not your decision as an administrator. It's a business decision. So if the business can afford to keep buying storage, fine, no problem. You know, data that's not been used for 5 years, we'll leave it on the storage. You get the point? But then
yeah.
you have to decide. So it's part of the acceptable use policy that any data that has not been used for 1 year, IT will remove it as part of our regular maintenance. So even the CEO can't complain afterwards because it's part of the agreement with the business at the beginning. But you as an administrator, that's one thing that you'll be able to, you have to have a way to pull up this information for them. To pull up this information to say, look at this, guys. We have this storage that is about to run out. Yeah. This storage that is about to run out, 70% of the files have not been used within a year. you know so how do you go ahead and pull all this kind of information? What type of, so in other words, you have to have a way of saying to the business, okay, hold on, this storage was designed originally to save all our business documents, but look at this. When we did an analysis of this storage, we found out that 10% of the storage is used for Word document, while 90% is used for downloading YouTube videos. But the point is, you as an administrator, there must be a way for you to get access to this information. And the way is not by going into each folder and looking at what is inside each folder. There must be a way to automatically pull up this information. That is where this one comes in, FSRM. It's Microsoft's way of giving you access to this information. So you can have information about what type of files are on my file server. What's the size of the files on my file server? Is there anybody storing a single file that is 1 gig? You know? Is there what how is the data that is on my file server? How is the data being used? Is it that some are being used more frequently, some have not been used in years? How is this data used? So for you to be able to pull up this information on Microsoft server, Microsoft has provided you with this tool called FSRM. With FSRM, you can pull up all this information that we've mentioned. You can pull up information about type of files. You can pull up information about the size of the files. You can pull up information about the data that is being used. And then after you pull up all this information, the next thing you do is you have to design a policy in agreement with the business and say, this is the policy. This is the type of files that will be stored on our storage. This is the maximum size of files that will be allowed on this storage. This is the archiving policy. That's what they call it. This is the archiving policy that we'll have. Any files that has not been accessed in 1 year or 2 years, we're moving it away from our storage. We're backing it up, moving it away. If it's needed, we have to recover from backup, and that will take 5 hours to recover. You know, you have all those kind of agreements to begin with. So you have to design your policy. And number three, you have to have a way of enforcing that policy. So in other words, you can only say, yeah, you can't save videos on our file server. But how do you enforce it so that you can't really save video on the file server? One way that you can do it is FSRM. You can say, well, if you've not accessed your files for more than 1 year, we'll have to move it off. But how do you enforce that? One way to enforce that to say files that have not been used within 1 year, move them away and put them in this location. One way that you can do that is FSRM. How do you say something like you can't store any file that is larger than 2 gig on this particular folder? You can store it in another folder. We have another folder for storing large files, but this particular folder, you can't save anything that is large, that any single file that is larger than 2 gig. One way that you can do that as an administrator and enforce that as an administrator is FSRM. So FSRM enables you by giving you access to information and then giving you, you know, a tool that has the features to enforce your policies. Is that clear at all?
Yes.
Is there any question regarding that, Joseph and Mark? Any questions regarding that at all? Nope. So
I got a question.
yeah, carry on, sorry.
Now, in regards to when you're doing the enforcement, is that through GPOs or
No, just purely through FSRM.
so that's a complete different so that's only when you're trying to access that particular storage. That's when but I'm trying to figure exactly how does it go about knowing, you know,
The type of
what
files and all that.
as far as if this user has permission to even save to this, file.
Okay, so with that, FSRM, in terms of that, FSRM, well, it is, but we're not going to talk about that today because that's not part of the 7411.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that's part of 7412. There's a way FSRM can do kind of like security called file classification, but that is
Oh,
not part of the 7411 module. That's part of the 7412 where we'll discuss classification of files. But FSRM it's not mainly like a security tool where it's like finding out whether you have access to this folder or not. Its own is to deal with the storage itself, not the access to the storage. It's the storage itself.
Okay. This okay. Um, but what I'm trying to understand is like as far as at what level does it work? Does it work in as soon as you try to access that the file server, or like how does it go about enforcing those?
So let's say like in a situation where we've got this one right there.
Mhm.
So let's go Ctrl Z, and this one right there. Let's say you have this folder here called the finance folder, and this finance folder has another folder within it, um, called um, maybe payroll or something. So has another folder within it called payroll. Now we know that the payroll folder has nothing to do with videos or has nothing to do with, with Lady Gaga's music. So what we can do is say, okay, we're not going to allow the saving of any music files or any video files inside this particular folder, and we can enforce that through FSRM. Now, FSRM doesn't care how you get access to it, you know.
Okay.
So the access that's based on NTFS to figure out, you know.
Okay.
So all it's concerned about is whichever way you get access to this, this is the policy on this particular storage. You cannot save this file type on it.
Okay. All right then.
Yeah.
Okay. So it doesn't concern about how you get access,
No.
just what
Even
you do
yeah,
as far as.
even if it's local, even if it's something that is local, something that you've not even shared, that's not a share, you can put policies on it, and FSRM will enforce it.
Okay.
So let's go because this is the other thing is that FSIM is just really straightforward. In fact, it's like one of the things that you do the lab and the lab just takes you just about 15 minutes. It's really really straightforward and just straightforward stuff. So let's bring this up and do a bit of labs together. Um, so we have let's go to this one. So the first thing we'll do is we'll install FSRM on this one, and one of you will be helping us with that. So who wants to volunteer first? Who is our first volunteer for today?
It doesn't matter.
So you want to install FSRM. So Mark, are you volunteering, or Joseph, do you
Sure,
want to volunteer?
I'll volunteer.
You volunteer, yeah.
Unless he
So
wants to do it, it doesn't matter. We can split it up.
so here's the prerequisite. I'm sorry, not the prerequisite. Here's the full details of that. Is that you can't use the GUI. You have to do it by partial.
Oh shit.
So thanks very much
I,
for volunteering. No, I'm only joking. Yeah.
I'm retracting my volunteer
No,
request here.
no, no, actually, we're going to do it by partial. So what we're going to do, so we're not going to be doing it very GUI because the GUI is simple. I mean, it's really simple, right? You just go here and then you go, how do I move this one? And then next, and then you're done.
I've,
So
I've
that's
never done
simple.
anything by PowerShell.
Yeah, no problem. So, so that's simple. That's straightforward. That's sometimes boring. So what we want to do is, um,
Why do you want to do it by PowerShell? I
yeah,
mean, just
good question. Joseph, can you help? Why do you think we want to do it by partial? Why not go for something that is
Microsoft is pushing
good
admin
one?
to use PowerShell, less resource on the server to use less resource. So, and you
oh
can
to
do most of the stuff through PowerShell anyways, and without actually accessing the server itself.
Yes,
So,
yeah. But that's a very, very good answer. Here's one of the good reasons is because this whole module is to prepare for an exam. Now I guarantee you, when you get to the exam, you see a lot of PowerShell.
Yeah.
At least when I did mine, there were lots of PowerShell. And one of the reasons, like what Joseph mentioned, is that Microsoft is really pushing PowerShell. It's like we're gonna force you to learn it.
Yeah.
It's like
One way or another.
yeah, it's like every actually I told Joseph, I said I'm gonna be investing in a scripting course or a programming course very soon. I'm gonna be going for a programming course or a scripting course because there's no way to escape it anymore as a system admin. We have to know a bit of scripting or programming to be able to function in like the next 7 5 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what will happen. So I'm going to be investing. So that's one of the reasons because Microsoft is really pushing this. There's no way you can't escape it anymore. Um, let's reduce this one. So this is 85. Let's give this one 85 also, so that it doesn't look. It is 3,000 is too much. Let's make it 1,000. Let's see. Okay, there you go. Um,
Um,
install it. Let PowerShell. They're like, oh, look at these command lines.
I just see a blinking cursor.
were, you, were you around during our PowerShell hangout?
No, I haven't done it.
Ah,
I'll
okay.
try.
Sorry, Joseph, what did you say?
Oh, me. I said I was gonna go ahead and see if I can try to
Yeah, go
install it.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead, please. I'll discuss something with Mark. Mark, believe me, like the thing is not difficult at all.
Yeah, it's just there's so many variables,
Yeah,
that
which is why it's not difficult at all. Cause you know what, in the first time we're gonna be having another hangout on PowerShell
oh
next
really? Okay.
week. Yeah, so we had one like some weeks ago. The recording is on the page. Then we're gonna be having another one. So you know what we did in the first hangout that we did on PowerShell? What we did was we took people that haven't worked on PowerShell before, and we
Hmm.
guided them into working with PowerShell. Everybody, just to show how simple it is.
Okay.
Actually, I can actually I can guide you. Actually, let me guide you to that. Let me guide both Mark and Joseph to that right now. So
Oh,
now I can guarantee you that right now in front of me, if I can let me show you if I let me show you my screen so you can see my video, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Which
So
one?
if I go, you can see my
Oh,
video,
okay.
right?
Yeah,
You can
yeah,
see
I
I have
see.
no Google open, right? I've got no Google open. I've got nothing open. But PowerShell is such an a fascinating tool that there's without looking at Google, without looking at anything, there's almost nothing that you can't figure out from PowerShell itself. And let's go through that together. So are you ready to do some good PowerShell, right? So now we're not going to be looking at Google. We're not going to be cramming commands. It's one of the things we said in our first hangout on PowerShell, which is that there are two ways to learn any command line too, whether Cisco or PowerShell or anything, or Linux or anything. Is that number one, you can try to cram it. Now, what I'll say to you, if you try to cram the command, it's good luck to you. Because you have uh, thousands of commands to cram. If you got a really good memory, you can probably pull it off, but good luck with that. Or the other way is to understand the shell itself and then let the shell teach you. So in other words, I can go on any computer or you can go on any computer without knowing anything about the commands to use, and you can figure out the commands without going to Google. And we went into like the whole details about that because PowerShell works in something called modules. So which would yeah, that's like another whole discussion. It works with something called modules. So the first thing you want to do when you get to any computer is find out which modules are available. So okay, in this case, what you want to do is you want to get the Windows feature. So go ahead and do get Windows feature. So, Mark, you want to try that? Go ahead and try that.
Is
So
that
just
one
do
word or?
get hyphen Windows feature. So PowerShell, it works in verb noun. So there's always, so that's one of the things that make it simple is that it works like the way we human beings talk. So we use verb then noun. Get this, do that, set that. So PowerShell works in verb followed by noun. So you
Yeah.
have the standard verbs like get, set, you know, you have things like
Okay.
new, add, remove, and then you have the noun after that. So like back what I was saying, um, so you can use get Windows feature. So what this has done is listed every feature that you can install on this computer, listed them for us, and the ones that have X shows the ones that have been installed. So we want to look at the ones that we want to install. So we're looking for file. Yeah, which one do you think is File Server Resource Manager?
Like the
Um,
file server tools, file services tools, and then that is file server resource management
oh
tools.
yeah, I see that.
Yeah, no, it won't be this. You know why it won't be this? Because this one, you can see it says RSAT in front of it. What does RSAT stand for? Remote Server Administration Tools. So if you install this, all it's going to install the tool to manage File Server Resource Manager. It won't actually install File Server Resource Manager
Oh, okay.
because RSAT is just an administration tool. So if you scroll up, just keep scrolling up, you'll see it somewhere at the top there.
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's a way to limit it. There's one way to limit it. Because there's one way that you can understand it is that this one I've not tried it before, but just from my understanding of PowerShell, maybe it could work. So if you do get Windows feature again, but don't present immediately after that, just type get Windows feature, then put a
Yeah.
space, then put an asterisk,
Okay.
and type file,
File.
yeah, and then asterisk again. So if this one should work, it may not work because I've not tried it before. But here is the thing: is that once you get like a basic understanding of how the shell works, and just try to figure things out yourself. So if you present that to that, what I'm thinking that I should do is list all Windows feature that has the name file in it.
Okay, so it just
Yeah,
filters out.
yeah. So,
Okay.
but here's the thing: is that it's not showing us File Server Resource Manager. So if you try the same thing with resource, maybe it's gonna show it to us. Yeah, there we go. So
So
we got File Server Resource Manager and we got its name right there.
why didn't it show it? Because it has file in it.
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
Oh, you know what? I bet you it's going by the name and
Oh
the
yeah, well, that's true. That's true. Yeah,
uh,
that's true. Yeah,
PowerShell
yeah,
name.
that makes sense. Yeah, so it's probably doing it by the name here, not with the display name. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have the name here, which is FS Resource Manager. So if you want to install it, all you need to do is, again, once you understand the basics, you'll find it to be simple. You can even figure it out yourself. Like you
hmm
just use get Windows feature. So if you want to install Windows feature, what do you think it will be?
Install.
Exactly, just be exactly, it's that simple. Just be install Windows feature. If you want to remove Windows feature, just be remove Windows feature. If you want to add Windows feature, so again, it's just understanding the basics and then you can figure things out for yourself. I saw Joseph in the beginning when you were typing it, I saw you type get Windows features, right?
Yeah.
With the
No,
hair,
install
sorry,
Windows.
install Windows features with the hairs at the back. Now, when we understand the syntax, we know that the noun, partial is verb noun, right?
Yeah.
The noun is always singular. It's never plural.
Okay.
So that way, it won't be features. It always gets process. It won't be get processes. It always gets service. It won't be get services. It always gets feature. It won't be get features. So once you understand those basics, you can just figure things out for yourself. Even though you may not have, you may have no idea. So now in this case, if you go install Windows feature,
Is this the same PowerShell or kind of the same thing that's in just regular Windows? Or is that
this is the new one. The old one in regular Windows is the old command line tool. Oh, you mean the one that is in your normal Windows 8?
Yeah, I'm in Windows 7, but when you go to PowerShell,
Yeah, it is. But here's the thing is that not yeah, that's like for another time because we if you watch our first hangout, you understand it more. Because
okay,
yeah, PowerShell works with something called modules. So the modules may not be available on your computer,
right,
but they're available on this server.
yeah,
So that was one of the steps that we were looking at that we're saying all you need to do is figure out how to list all the modules on the computer. So once you can list all the modules on the computer, look through them and find out which module relates to what I want to do. So this one relates to networking. So and I want to do something on networking. So the module I'll be dealing with is the networking module. And then go list all the commands relating to networking module for me. And it will list all those commands for you. And then look through all those commands and see which command relates to what I want to do. For example, you want to add a new virtual network card, and then you see an option that says add virtual network card. Obviously, you know that that's what that's the one that will do what you want to do, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So then you're like, okay, now I know the command, or I think I know the command that could do what I want to do, but I don't know how to use this command. Then you can use get help and then put the command there, and PowerShell will even show you examples of how to use the command.
Hmm.
So you get the point. So once you know like all these basic things, you can figure out your way around it. You don't have to cram anything. So now you want to install Windows feature. So if you go to install Windows feature,
Who's doing it?
no, go ahead and do it. I'll get Joe to do a more complicated one.
Okay. Uh, type in it.
So
Get Windows
install Windows
feature.
feature.
Okay. The FS resource man. No,
And
what was it?
remember install because we want to install it now.
We have to type install first, or
So it's not get. So now we get just simply means list it for us. Now we want to
oh,
install, so we need to change get to install. Yep. Then
okay.
at the end of that, if you put an hyphen, just an hyphen, put space, then hyphen, then start typing tab,
What is it?
the tab button, tab. Yeah, there you go. Now it's giving you options that you can use name. If you press tab again, configuration file path, tab again. So you see, it's even giving you like the options that you can use. Which one do you think will relate to what you want to do? Keep going.
Include all.
Include also feature. Keep going. Include management tools. Keep going. Sort. So you see, it's giving you like all these options by itself. So obviously, the one that you want first is you want the name of the feature that you want to install. So if you just cancel that and just type hyphen name,
Hyphen what?
name,
Oh, name. Okay.
yeah, and then space and just type in the name there, FS Resource Manager. But don't press enter after that because what will happen is if you press just enter now, what will happen is if you just install the feature but you have no tool to manage it.
Okay.
So you remember one of the options we saw says include management tools. So you just need to go space hyphen then include. Okay, this one is shortening the screen. Yeah, include. Then just keep pressing tab. It will complete it for you.
Oh wow.
More. Keep going. Tab. Yeah, there you go. Include management tools, and that's all you need. And then press enter. So this will even help you in the exam. So you get to the exam, they give you some options for PowerShell, and they say, so basically, Microsoft, when they're giving you the exam questions, they don't expect you to really have cram all the commands. What they really want is your knowledge of the syntax of PowerShell. So if they put something like install Windows feature, and they put another one that says install Windows features, so they want you to understand the basic syntax of PowerShell so that you can know it can't be features because the noun can't be plural. You get the point? So
Yep.
that's what they're looking for. So they're not really looking for you cram everything, but that you recognize the basic syntax that you can tell, that syntax is not right. That syntax is not right. That syntax is not right. For example, if they say when you understand the syntax of PowerShell, if they say add always applies to you're adding something to something that exists before. So for example, you want to add a new network card to your Hyper-V machine. You go to add maybe network card. You can't go to new network card because new always stands for something that doesn't exist before. So add means you're adding something to something that already exists. So if they are telling you, how do you add the new network card? Sorry, how do you add the network card or a new network card to an Hyper-V machine? And they give you an option that says uh, new network card or an option that says add network card. You know it can't be hard because it doesn't exist before. You know, you're creating something new that doesn't exist before. Add always means you're adding something to something that already exists. So instantly you can recognize from the syntax that it can't be hard, it has to be new.
Right.
Yeah, so all those little basics, so those are the kind of thing that we try to pull together in all the PowerShell langouts. So we understand just the basic syntax, then that way we can go on any machine and figure out the commands by ourselves. So here we go, we've installed file and server resource. So it's all installed on this machine now.
Okay.
So how do you confirm it's installed?
The manager tools.
No, just use
No.
the same command that you used at the top. And now it
Oh,
will have an X next to it.
I know it's in here someplace.
Yeah.
Can't say one of these. Let me see. Windows features file. I think it was resource or something.
Yeah.
No, no. Let's see.
Yeah, there you go. You see that it
Okay.
has an X next to it now.
Okay.
So which means it's installed. So now the next thing that we want to do is actually let's bring up the GUI. I'll show you what the GUI looks like. Then we'll get Joe to do the next part of the GUI. So if I go to File Server Resource Manager here, so it's the GUI that Mark just installed for us. And then here are the things that we're talking about File Server Resource Manager. It has a way. So this one, just leave this one for now. This one is in 412, classification management. But quota management. Quota management is a way to enforce if you have a policy to say you can't store a file more than this size on this folder. Quota management is a way to enforce that. File screening is a way to enforce what we said about the file type. So this one is about the size, quota is about the size, so you can enforce the size and say you can't use more than this particular space on this particular folder. Why file screening is a way to enforce the type and say you can't save this file type to this folder. Inside the payroll folder, you can't save anything that is video or MP3 files inside the payroll folder. So that's a way to enforce the type. So this one is type, this one is size. So this one is the information that we're talking about. So you want to bring up information. Let's say you want to go here and say generate report now and say, okay, what report do I want? Um, I want a report of not duplicate file. That's another good one for you. You want, duplicate files on your file server. Let's say you want large files is a good one. So you're like, okay, maybe people are saving files that are larger than 2 gig in our infrastructure. Want to find out. You can go edit parameters and say, I want to find out any file larger than 5 megabyte. Or you want to say any file larger than, 100 megabytes, a single file, you know. And maybe if they have this extension, if you want, you don't put extension and you go, okay, it will list all those files for you and you see the folders that they have. So that way you get the point. So you can use this to bring a lot of information out from your file server, while you can use screening and quota to enforce the size and the type. So the first thing we want to do is we want to create a quota now. And the quota that we want to create a quota to say, let's actually first create a folder first that we want to apply the quota to. So let's create the folder under the C drive. Let's call it share. So here's your task, Joe. Your task is to apply. Yeah, let's go inside share and let's create folder called users. Your task is to apply a quota to this users folder such that if anything is more than, if anybody tries to save anything more than 100 meg on it, it won't allow them. So now you do that via PowerShell. So off you go. Come on, figure it out. It's simple.
Oh, Lord.
It's simple. It's
I
simple.
guess that will be under the set command.
So the first
No,
thing you want to do, again, the first thing you want to do is you want to find out PowerShell modules. You want to find out what's the module name for File and Server Resource Manager. The command to do that is get module. There's no space, usually no space between the verb and the noun. So the verb hyphen noun. Verb, so the syntax is always verb hyphen noun. So get. So that's get module.
yeah,
Get. You missed out the T.
let's see.
Module. Then space hyphen. Then if you press just a tab, it will give you the options that are available. Yeah, keep going. Name. Keep going. Or keep going. Yeah, you can stop that. So what this command? So I mentioned three commands in there. Actually, I mentioned three commands in there. The first command that I mentioned that you should absolutely always remember is get module list available, because this will show you all the modules that have been installed on this machine. So if you press enter to that, so get ready for a lot of information and data to be thrown out. Yeah, that's not even a lot. So now all you need to do is look through all these modules and try to figure out which module relates to what I want to do. Which module do you think relates to File and Server Resource Manager? Just look through that and look for which module relates to File and Server Resource Manager. No, just go up. You click on it and just scroll up.
Oh,
No, I mean you can scroll up. Yeah, you can go this way. I mean, yeah, you can go up this way. So keep going up. Yeah. So which module do you think relates to File and Server Resource Manager?
let me see here. I'm guessing the right here.
Which
Where
one
it
do you
says
think?
new FSRM I mean FSRM action.
No, I mean, on these ones that you're seeing on the screen, which one do you think relates to File Server Resource Manager?
Um, the one that says file server resource manager.
Exactly. So you get the point. You see how easy it is. All you need to do is, so if you, okay, which module do you think relates to um, network transition?
Network translation.
Yeah. Which module do you think relates to printing?
Print management.
Exactly. So all you need to do is first of all figure out which module relates to what I want to do. Now you have the module. The module is File Server Resource Manager. So you need that name exactly the way it is spelled there. File Server Resource Manager. So all you need to do is go back to the PowerShell command line and type get command hyphen module, and then after module put space and put in the name of that module, File Server Resource Manager. And you know what this will give to you? This will give to you all the commands that are associated with that module. So press enter now. Now look at this. Now this is simple, right? Because now you have all the commands that are associated with this module. All you need to do is figure out which command relates to creating a new quota. Which command do you think relates to creating a new quota?
new FSRM quarter.
Now, do you see how simple it is, right? Now, we didn't look at Google, did we?
No.
All we needed to do is figure out which modules are available on this computer. And like, okay, these are the modules. Which module relates to what I'm working on? Oh, okay, I can see it here. This is the module that relates to what I'm working on. Okay, what are all the commands that are available to this module? Oh, these are all the commands. Okay, out of all these commands, which command relates to what I want to do? And it's really simple and straightforward. Actually, let me bring up my blog on this. What's it called? Simple, if I remember, system admin dot blogspot.co.uk, if I get it right. Yeah, it's been a long time since I since I wrote anything. I've been too busy. So this is the thing here. So I put the hangouts that we did on PowerShell there too. So we called it a better way to learn PowerShell because you can see the first thing you need to do is get module to show you all the modules that are available on the computer. So once you get module, you figure out which module relates to what you want to do. The next thing is get the commands that are associated with that module. So once you get that command, you're like, oh, I have no way to use this command. You can get help. I'll post this in the chat window. Go through that and go through the video. You'll find PowerShell easy. So now that we know the command, so the command is which one? New FSRM quota, right?
Yes.
So, Mark, do you agree with him that it is new FSRM quota?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's yeah. So now that we know it's new FSRM quota, or maybe we assume, maybe we could be wrong. So we know it's new FSRM quota, but maybe we are not sure. There's another command we can use. We can use get help. So we can use get help and put that command there, new FSRM quota, and it will show us exactly what that command is, how to use it. So just use get help, new FSRM quota. Doesn't matter, case sensitivity doesn't matter with the command. Again, remember verb hyphen now. So new hyphen FSRM quota. No,
Oh,
yeah.
no.
I'm not sure if this will work because it may ask you to download the help file from the internet. Yeah, FSRM quota and presenter because sometimes, yeah, I want you to download it from the internet. Okay, let me help you with that. And that's Hyper-V1, right? Let's connect this one to the internet so that at least we can download the. Let's connect adapter 4. Let's go to NAT. Let's go NAT. Okay. So let's connect it to the internet so that we can download the help file. Adapter settings, properties. Let's give it. Let's just make sure it's connecting to the internet. Just try the ping it. Yeah, here we go. We're in business. So if you go ahead and press enter, press yes to that, so that it can download the help file from the internet.
Okay.
So it says you want it to download the help file. So if you type yes, Y for yes, and press enter. So if you go ahead and download the help file from the internet, and you see how fun this is. So actually, all the things that we'll be doing today, we're going to be doing the PowerShell. We're not going to be using the GUI at all. And the reason is to take away the fear of PowerShell. So now, Mark and Joe, do you think that with this, do you think that there's almost nothing that you can figure out? There's almost no command that you can figure out by yourself without looking at Google.
Yeah, I mean, you can. It's pretty easy to self-explanatory by looking at the
Exactly.
stuff.
Because that's one good thing about PowerShell is that they built it in such a way that it can help you to learn about itself. So in other words, I don't need to really cram anything. All I need to do is know just three commands, how to get the modules that are installed on the computer, how to get the commands that are associated with that module, and how to get help for that command, and I can figure out anything. Now, it's different from if I want to start scripting with it, that is a whole different thing entirely. But in terms of using it, because that's the foundation is using the command first, then we get to the scripting stuff later and everything. But it's doing this one first. And one of the advantages, I'll tell you one of the advantages, because, and to answer another one of Mark's question, Mark asked the question about, why would you, because it's probably easier for us to go to the GUI, right? And just go click next, 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 rather than, figuring out commands and all that. And you're right, in terms of PowerShell isn't really built so that we can do a single task. So that maybe you want to install, you know, this feature on one server. If you're using PowerShell, well, it can impress your colleagues, but you're not really saving that much time. You get the point. But here is where it can have a big impact if you have a task to do that you have to do it 100 times. So all you need to do is figure out how to script it in PowerShell. Just use the same command and use a maybe task scheduler in Windows to repeat it over and over again, and you're done. Rather than you having to go, GUI next, 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 finish, next, 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 finish. You can just put everything in a single line, just repeat everything over and over again, and you're done.
Hmm.
So that's like the power, because when it gets to the repetitive task, and there's a lot of repetitive tasks in system admin. Believe me, the one I'm doing now, I'm bored of it. Updating firewalls and cleaning them up. I'm super, super bored of it. I'm looking at firewall rules every day, cleaning them up. This one is repeated, okay, delete. Yeah, it's repeated, okay, delete. Yeah, this is a duplicate, okay, delete.
Yeah.
I have to look at thousands of objects every single day. If there's a way for me to just write a single script, I'll just go into all of them and just remove every single thing, I'll be happy.
Hmm.
So here we go. Now, look at this. The description, it says the new FSRM quota commandlet creates a file server resource manager quota. Now, that has answered your question, right? This is the command you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But you may be like, okay, but I don't know how to use this command. Can I have an example of how to use it? Look at this. It said to see examples, type this command and you see examples. So let's see some examples.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. And you see, it will give us examples of how to use it and all that we need to do. In fact, we don't really even need to type everything over and over again. Let me teach you a trick. Let me teach you a trick. If you delete everything you've typed and just go to get help, new, yeah, so delete everything completely and then go to where it says to see examples. Just highlight the command followed by examples. Yeah, and then press enter and then go there and right click on that place. Yeah, there you go. Just remove the column and you're done.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It just copied all that?
Yeah, and just highlight it, press enter to copy and
That's
right
cool.
click to paste. And press enter. There you go. So it's run all the command. So it's giving you examples. Look at the first example it gave to you. Example one. New FSRM quota, the part that you want to apply it to, which also has similar name to to the one that we used or to the folder that I created. C shares description. You can give it a description if you want, and it says you can give it the size of 1 gig. It said this command creates a quota on C shares and adds a description for the quota. The quota is configured as a add limit at 1 GB in size that does not have any thresholds. And gave you example 2. It said this one, FSRM quota parts C shares description limits usage to 100 MB based on template, and you can apply a template. So we'll talk about that one in a minute. But basically what you can do is actually you can just go zoom, copy everything, press enter to copy, go to your command line, paste it, and then go and delete anything that doesn't match. But let's go, yeah, let's Control C. Yeah, let's just go up. Yeah, and just go and delete anything or replace anything that you want to replace. You get the point? So you don't actually need to repeat it again. All you just need to do is remove anything that you want to change. Like for example, our folder is not just C shares, it is C share user. So you need to replace that with C share user. So yeah, carry on, Joe. Carry on. So 1 to 1, that is gonna be a maximum of 100 meg. But that is description. So you still have to give it the size.
Yeah.
So you don't actually need description if you want. You can remove the description if you want.
We can just leave it.
Yeah, we can leave it also. But I think you probably need a column after that because there's space. If there's space, you need a column. Or the quote, sorry. Yeah. And then size. Then give it a size. So in other words, I'm limiting you this particular part to maybe 100 meg. You can look at the example. You can look at the example at the top and see how they did it.
Size, okay, let's go to 100.
Yep, and press enter. And there you go. You've just created your first quota with partial. And then if you go here and you go under quota and you refresh it, there you go. That's the quota that you created just now.
Oh, that's cool.
And now you have this quota here now. Actually, we can test it also. So the way for us to test it is we get you to the command line. So if you change the command line to the folder part, so change it to C share users.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. And actually, you can just type cd C share users, and it will take you directly there. So you need to type cd, not directory.
Oh. How do I click on this?
Yep. Then if you type fsutil fs file system util util
FS what?
util fs util no u then til. Yep. So this is just a way for us to create some random files. If you put space and space, then press /?
Oh, I couldn't hear. What was that?
/ then question mark. So that's backslash. So you need /, yeah, question mark, enter. So that will show you how to use that command. So the one you're looking for, so if you press fsutil file followed by file,
FS file.
So let's scroll down. So FSUtil, then file. So that's just a way to figure out how to use these commands. FSUtil, file, then space / question mark again. It will show you what else you can do. So what you want to do is create new. So if you go FSUtil, file, create new, and you know what to do after that. / question mark again, it will tell you what to do. File, then create new. Yeah, there you go. So it's giving you an example. So what I want to do is create a file, call it testfile1.txt, and give it a space of 100 million. So 100 million will be equals to 100 meg, 100 million byte.
Okay.
Yeah. So we create, yeah. So yeah, you can just use the up button, I think.
Huh?
The up button, yeah, and then remove that, and then type testfile1.txt.
Test file 1.
.txt. So we're just creating a random file and give it a size of 100 million. Yeah, and press enter. Yeah, so it says it's created it. So let's go to yeah, here we go. But this is just 9 meg. So actually that is not 100 million. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 10 million. So, but that is good enough. So if you create another one for 100 million now, but call it test file 02, and let us see if it will allow you to go beyond that limit. Yep. So enter. Look at that. It says there's not enough space. Of course, we know there's enough space. If you try to create it, but this time make it 10 million again, you see that you'll be able to create it. And press enter. There you go. So now the quota is already in working, right? Because it's like, I'm not going to allow you to save more than 100 meg on this space. So now we're enforcing our size, right?
Yep.
So that's the way we enforce our size. That's one way. Using FSRM, we can enforce the size and say, okay, maybe we have a share that all our users. So maybe this one is users. So maybe under users, we have a folder for Joseph. So this folder is called Joseph. And we have another space for Mark. And this other space is called Mark. We can go ahead and enforce our quota on all these ones. So Joseph cannot save more than 100 meg in his folder. Mark cannot save more than 100 meg in his folder. So is that clear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing that we can do, now we'll go into all the other options for this one later. The other thing we can do is to say, okay, maybe there's Joseph, there's Mark, but there's also one here called payroll. But payroll, we don't want anybody to be able to save any MP3 files inside payroll. So now we're not talking about size now, we're talking about file type. So we want to be able to enforce file type. So Mark, it's your turn to do that. So now you have to do it by PowerShell. You have to create a
Okay.
file screen to enforce that only particular file type can be saved. So just to help you, there are default templates that Microsoft has already. So for example, there's this template that says block audio and video. All you need to do is create a file screen and apply this template to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
From
So
PowerShell?
yeah. So now all you need to do is just figure that out. So it's really, like we said, use the same steps that Joe followed now. So first of all, you already know which. So you can get command module file server resource manager to get all the commands and look for the command that looks like you can create a file screen.
File or something?
Yeah, there you go. Good one. I like that. So you're already using the the methods and everything. Exactly. So now all you just need to do is just use that. So you need that name. So get module, then copy that name there. So you know how to copy that name. Just highlight it, press enter to copy. Good one. Then space, right click. There you go. Enter, and it will give you all the command. Ah, sorry, that get module. You need get command.
Oh,
Yeah.
where is it? Nope. What do I do?
Yeah.
Get module.
One of the reasons is because we're missing a switch, which is hyphen name.
Oh, okay. I can't see what. Hold on a sec.
Yeah, you can. Let's scroll down. Yeah, sorry. Let me just put it there.
Sorry, put me back.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, there you
Yeah,
go.
okay, yeah, that's better.
All right, so it was get
Hyphen command.
and dash name
Yep. And
and
then,
the file server.
yeah, and that will list all the command. Something is wrong. Get command hyphen name. Ah, sorry, no hyphen name. It's hyphen module,
Oh,
no
no.
hyphen name. Because yeah. So again, if you just press the hyphen and just start pressing tab, it will show you the options that you have. So go
Oh, yeah.
tab. So if you go, yeah, tab, yeah, tab, yeah. So, so all we're looking
Module.
for is hyphen module, no hyphen name. Yeah. Yeah. So those are all the commands. So your job now is to look through all these commands and figure out. Sorry, it just disconnected me. So I need to connect back and figure out sorry, and figure out which of these commands will allow me to create a new file screen.
Set FSRM file screen template. No. Probably file screen, and then you can maybe specify the template.
Again, remember it says set. So now we want to create something that doesn't exist before.
At, new
Yeah, let's see.
FSRM file screen.
Yeah, do you agree, Joe? New FSRM file screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree also. If it's not the one, all we need to do is, if you do a get help, it will tell you what that command is for.
That, nope.
It says if the new file screen commandlet created a file screen for a part on the server. I think that's like what we want to do.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, now I know the command I want to use, but I don't know how to use it. What do you do?
Well, you put it in there and
What
get
did Joe
help.
What did Joe say?
Example.
Yeah, examples.
Oh, that's right.
So you just copy that. The command is already there. Just copy the command there.
Where? Oh, that up
Oh yeah,
there. Erase this. Copy the. Where's the command?
under remarks there. Let me minimize this one. Yeah, there you go. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I
No,
moved
it's okay.
the. Sorry, I moved the. I wanted to take away the team viewer stuff that was blocking the screen. Yeah. Okay. There you go.
So get help. FSRM examples.
So it will give you at least two examples, or sometimes three or more. So it says example number one. If you scroll up, there will be one example at the top. So example number one, new FSRM file screen. It says you can apply it to that part. It says your description is this, included in this group, but that's not what you want. What you want is one that you won't have to be creating the whole settings from scratch. You just apply an existing template to it. So let's see example number two. So example number two, mail to, well, no. What about example number three?
Where do you see example two at?
Yeah, look at
Oh, there
example
it is.
number three, for example. It says
Oh, create it.
new FSRM file screen part, this one, and it gives you the template that you're applying to it, which is what you want, right?
Create an active file screen. Is
So
that
to,
going to allow us to?
so to me, number 3 sounds more like what you want. Example 3, down.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, it says this command create a file screen on that one based on the settings in that template. Because Microsoft already has a template to block audio and video files.
All
So
right.
all you need to do is apply that template to your file screen.
How do you know which template name you're?
Good one. You have to figure it out by PowerShell.
Great.
Now you're not
Uh,
allowed to look in the GUI, so you have to figure it out. So if you go back and look at all the commands that are associated with File Server Resource Manager and look for which command can list all the templates for you. You can just type the command again. Just type get command module File Server Resource Manager. You can use the up button to look for your previous command.
Get help? No.
Up will keep going up here, and you can keep going back in your history. Yeah, that one. And then
This
look
one?
for, yeah. So that will list all the commands to again to you. So look for which command looks like the one that can list all the templates for you.
Okay.
Joe found it already, right?
Let's see. File screen template. Get file screen template.
Yeah, sounds nice. I agree. Well, it may not be right, but we can try it and see.
Oh, that means it's not right.
No, it could be. No, actually, no, no, actually, it could be. To me, actually, I actually think that that's the one I'll go for too, because that sounds normal. Like get FSRM file screen templates. Yeah. So if you enter that and go,
uh,
yeah, let's see if it lists all the. Yeah, we go. There you go. It's listed all the template files. But the truth is, um, has it given us the name? Yeah, it's given us the name.
oh, block. Is there another one here? Audio, video.
Yeah, there you go. So that's
So
the
which one
template
is
that you want. Block audio video files.
it?
The first one.
Right. So you're just using the name? Is that what you're copying, or
Yep,
what?
I'll think so. If it's not, I mean, let's look at, you can look at your example again and see how they used it in the example. The example that you have at the top there. So now you can now you can see, like, now we're not looking at Google, right? We're
Right.
not we're not trying to cram commands. We're just trying to figure out a way.
Oh, here. So we can use this.
Yeah. And exactly, there you go. And all you need to do is put your template name. Unfortunately, it won't let you copy that way, so
Well, I'll copy most of it.
yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Oops. What happened? Oh,
Mm,
stop. Okay. So we need to change.
yeah, the template name to your name.
Where did it go? What was it? Audio and video.
It's at the top. You need to look for it.
Oh man,
At the at the
like
top there.
50 pages up. Oops. Yeah. Did we pass there?
Except you want to type the command again. Yeah, you're there already.
Um.
Yeah, so you can even copy and paste it now if you want. You can copy and
Oh.
paste it now.
Where'd it go?
Mhm.
It disappeared.
You know, keep if you type down, maybe up or down, type down instead, and see maybe you get it.
I think you didn't learn it, so you're gonna start
Yeah.
Yeah,
from start.
yeah, keep going down, 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 down. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe you need to maybe you need to type it.
All right. We'll do this over again.
Yeah.
I gotta
Or
remember
what
what
you
the
can
heck it
do,
was.
another thing you can do is just get Notepad up and just put everything you want in Notepad and just write, simply copy it and paste it after you have it in Notepad. You can start Notepad from PowerShell, just type Notepad.
Oh, okay.
So just go back to, just press escape, escape, yeah, just type Notepad and it'll bring up a Notepad for you. And then you can paste what you have.
Alright, I'll be right back to you.
It didn't paste. Ugh, killing me here. I don't remember what I did. We did, oh man, it was get module. Oh man, what
What
was
you
it?
did was you got the command, I'm sorry, the help for the command that you found.
It was get.
So you can do, yeah, you can use the up button to see what you've done. Mm, This is fun, right, Joe? It's nice, right?
Oh, yeah. Where did get Windows featured? No.
No, no, you're way back. Yeah, get command, yeah, that sounds like it.
That's a start. Okay, so it was
New screen,
set.
new screen.
Which? Oh no. Uh, uh, template. New FSRM file screen.
Yeah. So what we need to do is get the
I'll
help
put
for
that in
the, yeah.
here.
Is it not
Something
pasting?
you did. No,
Ah, it's not, well, okay.
maybe you
Doesn't
can't go
like,
between them.
doesn't like, I thought it would paste. That's strange. Yeah, it's something simple, yeah. So just, all you need to do is to go, yeah. So get help for that command. Actually, if you should paste, if you press enter and just go straight to Notepad and try to paste it again. Yeah, you should paste. There's no reason why you shouldn't paste.
Yeah, it wasn't doing it before. So okay, so now what? Get help or?
Yeah, yeah. So you get help for the command that you have now.
um,
And you
Okay.
have your examples there, so you can get help examples. So this one, now I know that you may be thinking, well, it's easier to do this on a GUI. That is absolutely right if you're doing one task. But here, the place where this one gets good is if you have, you know, someone just handed you 100 templates to create. Now, good luck with that, doing that on the GUI.
Yeah, that would take you a while.
Or you can just basically write everything down in Notepad, just run it as a script, and boom, everything is done.
Let me put this in Notepad here. So okay. So now we need that audio. What was it again?
And
It
you've
was
not copied that command. You've not copied that command. You copied the wrong command. So you copied the previous command,
oh. How did
not
that happen?
the new one. So you need to press enter to copy that.
This one, right?
Yeah, so that's the last one, yeah.
Oh, because I didn't. I'm trying to get used to this hitting enter thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what it says.
Yeah, you can just, yeah, okay, you want to look for that command again, the get. You can just use
The
that command again to get it.
the examples or the
No, the command
no.
to get, the command to get all the templates. You can keep going up. You already, yeah, keep going up. You see one of the commands to get the templates. Keep going up. We passed this. Keep going up. Keep going. No, I think we passed it already.
Yeah, you passed it.
Yeah,
This
we
The
passed it
get
already.
Get command.
Do what?
Actually, it's really simple. I think it's get FSRM screen templates, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just try that command. Get,
Get help?
yeah,
No.
no, just get FSRM. Get hyphen. No, again, if you put get, remember verb hyphen now. Verb hyphen now.
Hyphen. So what was it? Get.
Get hyphen. Remember, there has to be an
Oh, okay.
hyphen. Then if you put keep pressing tab, it will give you the options. Or just start typing FSRM because that will take you a long time before you get to F. Yeah, the presenter. Sorry, tab. Tab will keep taking you. Yeah, FSRM screen. I think.
Screen template.
Yep, I think so. Yeah, there you go. You passed it.
I did.
Yeah. So just cancel all of that. Just go back to FSRM screen. Just type FSRM screen. That will make it quicker. Yeah.
Not
Screen.
doing it.
Down. Type FSRM SC. Yeah. Tab.
Yeah, it's not.
Actually,
Nothing.
it's FSIM file
Oh,
screen.
okay. Yeah, sorry. File screen. Yeah. Ah,
Yeah.
okay. There we go. Template. Keep going. No, that's just
Oh,
file screen. So you need the, yeah, there you go.
then that's it. Okay.
Mm, Then all you need to do is get the name there and then put everything together. You have your command, paste it in the PowerShell, and you
And it
have your
was
file screen. Then we can test.
paste.
Put
And,
one. So just, yeah, tidy it up.
and it was that one, right?
Yeah. So you need to change the location. Remember, the location that we want to apply it to is C share user payroll. You can look in the in File Explorer to confirm user.
Users.
Yeah,
Users.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Look, yeah, yeah. Okay, look at that. Yeah, share
Users
user
payroll.
payroll. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. So you just need to apply that, and then you're done. Then we can test. Then yeah. No, Control V won't work. It will work with just right. Yeah, there you go. Enter, and you're done. Hey, there you go. Now, if you go on the, yeah, let's just go here and let's see if we have a new file screen. Let's refresh. Here we go. You just created a file screen for us.
Nice.
So now we have to test it. So the way to test it is we use the same way that Joe did, which is FSUtil. So actually, let me do that. So if I go,
Okay.
yeah. So if I
Good.
go C share users, CD payroll, FSUtil file, create new, right? Yep, create new, and let's call this testmusic.mp3.
It's just going by extension. It doesn't care what's in there.
Yeah, exactly. So which is one thing that we need to mention. It says access is denied. Can you see? But if I
Mm-hmm.
go back and say, well, it's not mp3 actually, it's just txt. It's like, yeah,
Yep.
I'll create it. So now our screening is applied. So you brought up something which is really, really good because this is actually weak. Because if I have an mp3 file, real mp3 file, all I need to do is change the extension
Right.
and I can still save it there. But then you as an administrator, you can always still pick it out another way, maybe by viewing large files. So you have your reports that you're running. So I can go and say, show me a report of files that are larger than 5 meg, and I can look through them. Yeah, I can say, show me a report of files that are larger than this one, and I can look through them and all that stuff. So you do get the point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So of FSRM, you get the whole philosophy behind it. So we've not covered half of what FSRM is about, but at least this gives you an introduction to what to its whole purpose, its whole philosophy. This one for your size, this one for your type, this one for the reports, and the report is really large. Management will like you very much for the reports because you can generate reports to say this is the amount of files that we've used over this time. You know, these are the people that are storing files, too much files. These are the people that are doing, you get the point. Something that will let management know what is actually going on. And it's also useful for you as an administrator because you know what is going on your system, which is why we are administrators. We we know exactly what is going on our systems.
So this is
So
just network shares. This isn't local. Like they could store whatever they want on their own machine.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
So the thing that, because that's the other thing as a file, there's another way. There are other ways that you can also manage local storage, because one other way is because the whole topic of storage is like a whole big storage, which we started in 410. We'll discuss little about it in 411. We'll discuss it in 412 and 413 and 414, because the whole topic of storage in 410 when we started, one of the ways we can do folder redirection. I'm not sure if you were in that hangout where we discussed folder redirection, where you can
No, I don't
redirect a
think so.
user's document folder to a storage location.
Yeah, I know how to do that.
Yeah, and we mentioned one of the benefits of that. One of the benefits of that being that you can enable things like VSS, so that in case they accidentally delete one of their important files, or in case their hard drive crashes, they're not going to lose all their files.
Yeah,
So if you're redirecting it to a storage location, you can be backing up that location every night. So in case the CEO comes and says, my hard drive's crashed, but I've got this $50 million deal stored in this
yeah,
location, what do I do? They're like, yeah, don't worry, everything is on the server. And then the other advantage is if the machine crashes, all they need to do is log into another machine and they'll find all their documents there.
right.
Yeah, so we can do that for them on the local user side, and then even enforce these policies on the server side, and then it's
Hmm.
going to apply to that. But this one is mainly for you. This feature for me, if I think about it for me, I'll think of it useful for me if I have a huge file server where we're not just redirecting users to, where users can save what they want. But here's the thing, I know that if I say to users, you can save what you want, and I leave it alone without enforcing any policies, it won't be long before we start getting lawsuits. Because people will start saving Cisco iOS files and and Microsoft. Actually, like I work for an IT security company. I remember one day someone came to us in the network team, and you know what his request was? His request was we're blocking Pirate Bay. He wants us to open Pirate Bay so that he could download the source code of Citrix.
Nice. Yeah, there you go. Genius move.
So,
Uh,
so yeah, so you leave users to their own devices. You say to them, hey, you're working for the company. You can store whatever you want on this location, and you leave them to that. Very soon you start getting lawsuits. So you have to have a way of policing it, a way of putting some controls. So two main controls that you want to put are the size. You don't want them to just keep storing anything, otherwise they will just turn it into their home theater storage where they store all kinds of videos that they want, or use it as a backup for all their pictures. Or or what could happen is they can start storing file types that they shouldn't be storing on there. So again, if you think of this as this is not the only um, control method that you have, but this should be one of your control methods. You get it. So it's not as if this is the only one that you're using. So you're using group policies. You're using things like a firewall to block dodgy websites and dodgy downloads and stuff like that. But this also is part of it, that in case someone comes in with like a USB or something like that. So you have like a whole holistic approach. So this is not just like the only one, but it's part of like many controls that you put in place.
right.
And then the good thing about this is if this is your file server, you can basically come and run generate a report and generate let's say you want to find out files by owner, people that have saved files on this ones. I can even go edit parameters and say actually, I've been suspecting Mac for a long time. Mark, Mark has been,
Great.
you know, so
I've
I
been
can go,
framed.
yeah, yes, I can go. Actually, I want the user, I want this particular user. That's the particular user that I want you to show me what is storing. And that way I can find out for a particular user. If I want, I can just say, show me all owners. I can say, show me all owners, but show me only this file type that they are storing. So if I want to find out who is storing the most videos on my storage as an administrator, if they show me all owners, anybody that is storing maybe .flv, you know,
Hmm.
and then it's going to show me everybody's report. And that's powerful to me as an administrator, because now I'm not blind. I know exactly what is going on my storage system. I know exactly. So management will not call me and say, what type of files are being saved? And I'm like, I have no idea. You know, I'm like, yeah, I have exactly an idea what kind of files are being stored on my system. I have exactly the idea of who is using my system the way they shouldn't be using it. I have exactly the idea, because one other thing that you can use is you can even use this for monitoring, not necessarily even for blocking. Because even just file screen, what you can do, let's go back to file screen. I can go edit the file screen that you created, but you see this option says active screening, right? It means do not allow users to save the file. So it will block them from saving the files. Or the other one, I can use passive screening. In other words, it will allow them to save it, but I can set an event log or an email message so that whenever they save any file that is a video, I get an email.
Oh,
So
that's
it will
cool.
still allow them to save it, but it's like a monitoring for me. Or even if I don't want to be using, because that is like too dodgy, too creepy. Every time you save a file, I'm getting an email, you know. So if I want if I want something like generate a report, that is more professional, you know. So just generate this report anytime this user saves this file type. So I can generate a report, and of course I can time the report and say send this report to me once a month. So that way, at the end of the month, I can get the report to say, hey, on 2nd of November, Mark saved this video file. So it
Hmm.
will still allow you to save it. On 15th of November, Joseph saved this video file. So I can see, oh, okay, Joseph has saved this video file on this day. So it will still allow you to save it, but now I have more information, which is power as an administrator. You always want to know what is going on your systems. You never want to get to a stage where management calls you and you're like, I have no idea what is going on with my system. So which is why this tool can be useful, especially
That's when
because
I
of the storage here.
that's when
So
I log into somebody else's computer and then download it. I didn't do it. They did it.
that one is for next week. That because next
Yeah.
week we're discussing security auditing.
Okay.
So security auditing we can still trace you.
I need to get to that one then.
So we can still trace you with that one. Yeah, yeah, we just know we're logged into the system at this point. So yeah, so this is again, just as long as you remember that this is not the only control that you have. This is just one of the many controls that you can put in place for your file servers.
Is this new to 2012 or was
No,
it in
it started
earlier
in
version?
2008, but they've
Okay.
improved it a lot in 2012, especially with this one that we're not going to be discussing till 7412 called classification, where we can classify files and does a lot of fancy stuff and all that stuff. But
Hmm.
that's for 12. Yeah. So I
Interesting.
hope you got something today.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, next week we'll continue with encryption and auditing. So um, get ready for more PowerShell. Try to get used to it because we'll be doing that once in a while where we just do everything with PowerShell, just so
Yeah, I'm
that we're
gonna
not,
watch that.
yeah,
I think I'll watch that
so that
video.
we're so that we're not afraid of it anymore. It's not
That,
something to be afraid of.
that makes sense though. After you do it a few times, it
Yeah,
start getting easier a
yeah.
little bit.
And then you start getting ideas. Once you start it, and you're like, okay, hold on. What if I put this like in 10 lines and cause it to run 10 times? And then you're like, now I can do this. Okay. Then you now start getting like different ideas like that.
All right.
Yeah. Because like for example now, like one thing we use PowerShell for in our environment is for even just for intrusion detection using PowerShell, where I think I've mentioned that before, where we have, you have the domain admin group. You have all these powerful admin groups in your Active Directory. And what we've done is you have a PowerShell script that runs constantly. The way to make them run constantly, this tool called Task Scheduler, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we can use Task Scheduler to schedule a PowerShell script to be running at a particular time. So what that means is that if a user, let's say Joseph is an hacker, and if Joseph were to hack into our system, one of the first things that you as an hacker will try to do is to set up a privilege for yourself. So maybe you create a user account and make that user account a domain admin so that now you have domain admin access. But you know what will happen? The moment you create any account and you add the account to domain admin group, it sends an email to everyone in IT
Oh, yeah.
to say somebody just added someone to the so if I should add Joe into the domain admin group, everybody in IT will know that.
That's the
So
highest authority of the servers.
yeah, so
Yeah.
every I security group we have that running constantly for them. So the moment somebody is added, an email goes out to everybody to say somebody just added somebody into this group,
Hmm.
and that is done by PowerShell.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. That's done by PowerShell and by nothing else but PowerShell. Yeah, so it's really good and really lovely and all that stuff.
And
Okay,
that doesn't take up much resources, right? It's just monitoring.
yeah, exactly. But then that's like good intrusion detection.
Mhm.
Because once somebody, even like a dodgy administrator is trying to open a back door for themselves, there's no hiding place because you have to explain. And
Right.
then the other thing is that we have all these different work stream. So if I'm a network guy, and I had myself to exchange admin groups, the exchange guys will come on my back. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? If I had myself to the storage admin group, the storage guy will come to me and say, what are you doing? Or if the storage guy was to add himself to a network administrators group, we'll go after him and say, hey, why are you adding yourself to the storage administrators group? You want to be accessing our routers.
So can you monitor other servers? Like you can run that script from one server, but it's monitoring
No, we just running it on the
something.
domain controllers, on all our
Oh,
domain
okay.
controllers. So it's not something it's just a script that is running on the domain controller via task scheduler.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
So yeah, so we'll continue next week again, guys. So have a wonderful night rest. And we'll see you
Alrighty.
next week. Yeah.
Cool.
All
Thank you.
Yeah.
right,
No problem,
thanks.
guys. Yeah. See you.
All
All
right.
right.
Yeah. Bye
Bye.
bye.